This is Jam Nation.
With Jonesy and Amanda.
Well, the hackers of Medicare threatened that they would release the data of millions of Australians if their demands weren't met. At 2 a.m. this morning, the hackers posted some details, including phone numbers and Medicare numbers, to a dark web forum. Well, what does this mean? Not just for Medicare customers, but for everyday Australians. How worried should we be? How can we protect ourselves? Australia's leading tech expert Trevor Long joins us now to explore it all with us. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
Morning, Amanda. I'm very well.
So what does this mean? Tell us what's happening if you wake up this morning and you're with Medicare and you hear that at 2 a.m. some of the data was released.
Yeah, it will concern people. I'm a Medibank customer, and it worries me that my health information might be released to the public. But I look at mine and go, I'm not too stressed because it's not that bad. But I've looked this morning, Amanda and Jonesy, at some of the data that this hacker has released. And while it's only a couple of hundred people, it's personal information like your name and address and phone number, but it's also where you've been treated and for what you've been treated. So, for example, it might be a hospital, and then it has diagnosis codes. So it's not written that you have diabetes or a mental health problem, but those codes are common in the medical insurance industry, and I've simply Googled a few of the codes to work out what they are. So for people out there who are Medibank customers, and there's 500,000 of them who are most affected, the hacker has their medical information. The other 9.2 million, they have a lot of information about you, but not the medical stuff. So it's a worrying thing because we worry about the things that we might not have told people, or didn't need to tell people, like our employer or our mates, about our medical conditions that may now become public.
The Medibank hack happened, and then pretty much the next day or 2 days later, I got my bank contacted me. They had to cancel my debit card because it had been hacked to the tune of $390 by Apple, California. Would that be a result of that? Because I'm with Medibank and they do have my banking details. Can they get into my bank account?
No financial credit card details were obtained in either the Optus or the Medibank hacks that we're aware of. And both companies have said that pretty clearly, so they would know. Unfortunately, right now we've got that situation where every scam or every problem we have with cybersecurity appears to be linked to these when they're probably not. But it's raised awareness for us all around the kind of things that can happen, because actually the biggest risk right now isn't, in this case, identity fraud or anything like that. It's just scams. For example, the people who are in this list that have been published now, they're likely to get emails that are demanding a ransom. Hey, pay me $1,000 or I will release your information to your employer. And that will scare those people, and as it should, but there's nothing you can do to prevent it being published, shared, or used by other cyber hackers and criminals to scam you.
Wow.
And certainly don't pay it.
No, is that the advice? Don't pay it?
Do not pay it, because I've tested this with an Instagram hacker. A friend of my son's lost his Instagram account to a hacker, and so I paid the $50 Bitcoin, and then he asked for another 20. I paid that 20, asked for another 30, and I just realised that's where it's going, and that's how they work. Once they know you're on the hook, they keep reeling you in and reeling you in. So by acknowledging even that you exist, by replying, you are putting yourself further onto the hook. So as hard as it is, you have to ignore it, you have to delete it, and you have to confront the fact that the information may be out there. But one of the things I've said a lot in the last week is this is really up to us as Australians and the media as to how valuable this data is. Because if we don't give it any credibility or credence in terms of treating our friends or family differently because we find out about a diagnosis they had, then the data is valueless. And I think that's the best thing we can do is put our arms around each other and go, I don't care what your diagnosis has been, is, or whatever. And certainly we will never publish or share this information online.
Crikey. Medibank has stated publicly that it's not going to pay the ransom. Is this the right decision? Because more and more companies are going to be in this position.
It's going to feel like the wrong decision today because the hacker has released all the communication between themselves and Medibank, and it's a wild ride. It's like reading a novel, the way the communication went back and forward. And it ended with Medibank saying, after considering all options, we've made a decision that we cannot pay your demand, and confirm that it's also Australian government policy not to. And they say, we understand the impact this may have, essentially acknowledging that we know you're going to release it, but we're not going to pay the ransom. And it is the right thing to do because by paying the ransom, they're simply telling every cyber criminal in the world that Australia is a place where ransoms are paid.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Can't have that.
You
But in the
can't have
meantime,
that.
how awful for
Awful,
all
not
these
awful.
for all this information. You're
I
right,
don't care
Trevor.
if people know about my ailments. I'll tell you about them right now.
Yeah, but you're in a position where that's okay. For a lot of people, that's not right. So we take the sting out of the tail by embracing our friends and saying we don't care.
Yes.
Is that right, Trevor?
That's right. It's the best thing we can do is to ignore what you read and hear about individual cases. And if one of your friends seems to be affected by this, throw your arm around them and tell them that we're all in this together. And there's no impact on any person's working or friend relationship around a little bit of health information.
Well, let's hope employers feel this respected.
Well,
the
of course
same
they
way.
would. What sort of a-hole employer would
Well,
that
you
be?
never know. You never know.
Well, Trevor, thank you for providing clarity. Head to EFTM.com for all Trevor Long's tech advice. Trev, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Trevor.